Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to another trek through the dungeon. So we've been doing a tutorial series on getting a Minotaur Berserker ascended, and that's where we're at now still, and what we will continue to do at this point, at least I guess. Let me take a quick peek over at the stream, make sure it's on and functioning. Give me one moment, and also see if anybody has joined the chat or not, as the case may be. Hmm. Doesn't look like it's rolling. Crap, hang on. Um, okay, there we go. Yep, we're live. Okay, excellent. So far what we've done is demonstrate some basic tactics, got through the dungeon up to 11, which is pretty late to find swamp, sorry, lair. We did lair in its entirety, and we have been gifted a couple interesting pieces at the very end of the last run. We got some good armors and the like, and some decent weapons. Here, let me actually drop this war axe that I no longer need. Check my at. Yep. We got this beauty of a tower shield. This beauty of a tower shield and this beauty of plate armor, both of which are extremely solid for our build, which is a one-hander melee brute. You'll notice this one bans casting, but that's kind of perfect for us. Yeah, that is kind of the TLDR, isn't it, Fusha? Just hit things. But this is actually kind of why I just sorry, time break. This is why I'm making this, to be honest. In my not so humble opinion, anybody can ascend a Minotaur Berserker. If you've never played a roguelike before and you're brand new, and this is your first one, you still can do it. It will just take maybe a week or so, I would say, and you'll get it. I have a 55-minute win under my belt with Minotaur Berserkers where I'm not using my brain like at all, like 90% not using my brain, because this is a very forgiving class. It has way more power than it needs at every point in the game up till the very end game. The hard part is knowing what to do and knowing what tactics you're supposed to be trying to do. So I'm just trying to show not optimal play, but better play, I guess you could say, and more importantly, the philosophy. What am I thinking as I'm making these decisions so that you can apply it to whichever run you want. So, we have our broad axe, we have our good armor, we have our good shield, and that is basically all we need. We don't have resistances yet. Cold, poison, electricity. Oh, I guess we do have it in the armor. Corrosion. We would like to build these out if possible as the game goes. So that's kind of what we're hoping to get out of doing orc. All right, let's go in. Now, there are five orcs that I want you to be aware of. There is the simple orc, the orc wizard, and the orc priest. Uh, this is the. Oh, I disagree, Fusha. I think that troll berserkers have it really bad because their end game is very difficult to get through. Uh, you end up being much weaker and having a much harder time putting together resistances. But once you learn how to use rocks. Anyway, um, to put it in perspective, I've ascended Minotaur Berserker was one of the first classes I beat the game with online, and Troll was one of the last four that I ascended when I was going for all race wins. Yeah, Troll's a trap. Troll gets you to the early game through the early game quickly, and then you get kind of hit a wall. So where were we? Right. Uh, Orcs. The basic orc and the orc wizard and the orc priest are all very weak. They're easy to kill. You've been dealing with them since Dungeon 4, so by now you should be massively overpowered for them. And, you kind of are. Uh, then there's the. Hang on a moment. Is there a pause button for the stream that I can use? That'd be amazing. I don't see one. Rats. Do do do. Scene collections, tools. Nope. Whatever. Too bad, so sad. So then there's these warriors. They are up until now have been a threat, and now are finally at level. So if these are all you're dealing with, you can genuinely just walk into them and kill them. You might get confused and have to dance a little bit before you cure out of it, but basically at this stage these guys are the easy part. It's the other things that you're going to start focusing on. Packs of dogs, no big deal by themselves. A random shooter, no big deal by itself. Good tactics are always good. Try to minimize how many enemies you have to fight at once. Avoid getting massively surrounded. Try to stick to what you know and work your way in towards what you don't know instead of, running helter-skelter into the middle of the unknown. See enemies, back off. Let them come to you. Whack them with an axe as soon as they turn their head around the corner. But the orcish, there are a couple stronger orcs and bigger baddies that you're going to find, and they are relevant. So, alright, auto travel is done. Orc 2 is where you start really dealing with nasty stuff. If you just auto travel blindly here, you will probably end up pincered and maybe using teleport scrolls or maybe dying. So definitely try to minimize auto traveling and draw targets as much as possible. Here we're going to add the red orc, the orc sorcerer, and the blue orc, the orc priest. And these are both as dangerous now as the wizard and the priest used to be. 16% on paralyze, so if he manages to pull off paralyze after having summoned a demon, and then hits me with a bolt of fire, he could deal 51 damage off the bolt of fire while 2 demons beat me up for 2 turns. That's pretty bad. But if I hit him, he has how much HP total? I should say 31. I will probably kill him in 1 or 2 hits. 1, 2. So, glass cannon. The phrase glass cannon comes readily to mind. In this situation where I was able to take him on alone, harmless, almost completely so. But if he is able to put me in a situation where I've put my head in too far, very, very dangerous. So what I'm worrying about in Orc 2 is blindly rushing into a situation where I'm pincered by 5 priests, 2 high priests, and a sorcerer all at once. Add one roll at 11% to paralyze me and then gambling on a high roll for damage, not at all frightening. But 10 people rolling at an 11% to hit and paralyze, one of them's gonna make it. Oh, okay. So here we go. We found the deep end. Immediately, let's make them come to us. Also, rather than putting our head deeper and deeper into the lion's mouth, let's explore up. Notice that we've never seen this staircase before. So now we need to immediately be ready for a second fight. And we are. It just works. As every quest giver DM has known for the last time since time immemorial, orcs are there to be killed. And at this stage, so are trolls. And ogres. Okay, now we have another safe staircase to escape to, if we need to. Always exploring in a pattern that hugs my staircases, that hugs my walls, that gives me the most opportunities to retreat safely. Alright, we'll just go ahead and get this one cleared up. I'm going to hide around the corner and wait for Nergal to walk kindly right into cut me down range. And then, well, if you're asking for it, I will cut you down. Okay, back downstairs. So without having memorized every vault that there is, frankly without even knowing them, you see how there's a hard metal wall here and a hard metal wall here? It stands to reason this whole chamber is the end chamber. And because we know that we are at risk of... Ooh, a teleport. That's actually valuable. We can retreat to the teleport. That guy can hug rocks. Because we know we're heading towards the end, I'm becoming even more thoughtful and methodical about my approach. I really do want to fight things one at a time as much as possible. Three priests. I can always drop fog, which forces them to come to me and breaks line of sight even in the middle of nowhere. But until they've at least damaged me, I feel like it's premature to do so. Get seen, get hid, get even. I have a scroll of noise by any chance? No? Okay. Just shout a couple times. See if that doesn't wake up somebody to come at me. Every orc I kill now is an orc I don't have to kill later. many v1. Good question for sure. I think that's a new feature with version 0.3, maybe. If you hit at, it will show what your expected damage is. A, one or two versions ago, it didn't do it for unarmed. Now it even does it for unarmed, which is really nice. I don't find the actual number useful. I'm not here mathing was 27 times 2 is 54 and their HP. I'm not doing that. But it is nice to have a general sense of is this better than that? This game is not going to allow me to do this without sticking my head into the lion's mouth. So, okay, time to trigger the trap. The truth is we are powerful enough to stand our ground here, but we're doing our best to, again, we only get one round of Berserk, right, before we are in trouble, so. Orc Knight. Kind of in the position that the old black orcs, the orc warriors used to be. Beefier orcs. And if you do see a red orc, the orc war master, definitely be on guard. Those guys require solo fighting as much as possible since they can survive maybe not an entire round of being berserked, but they can survive quite a bit. Break line of sight as much as possible. We don't want smited from out of range. Now, I have observed that there are some enemies that are undead, which could give me a hint as to this end vault's composition. I don't want you to worry about that. In a beginning position, just focus on tactics like I am here. I'm not rushing in, peek, hide, back off, snipe. I'm not a stealth player by any means. I have zero training in stealth. This isn't stealth. This is just picking things off. I do want cancellation. There are definitely situations where I need to cancel. I'll load up on this stuff, no question. I could make the argument for those poison scrolls, but I have enough. If ever I'm low on poison scrolls, I can come back. All right, auto explore. I think that's most of it. Shout, bring him out, beat him up, beat him up. Shout, bring him out, shout, bring him out, beat him up. Shout, waiting, waiting, waiting. Nothing came. Okay, bring him out, beat him up. Oh, there's the blue ones. The blue ones are nasty because they can summon and smite. So, yeah, I'm not worried about barbs. I'll take the damage to keep fighting. Okay, see this? See, this is how you get drawn into a attack, and then an attack and an attack and an attack and get whittled down. I could teleport scroll here just to be on the safe side. I'm actually going to regen will because I'm pretty sure I can fight through this. But this is the kind of hubris that gets you killed. If you're not sure that you can fight through something, if you don't have a very good game sense, this is a time to teleport out and just not fight. But I'm pretty sure I can win this, as I have here. Oh, paralyzed. But lucky for me, not a big deal. Another tactic we have at our disposal in a situation like this where we're getting many v1'd and we're nervous about our life is to cast an ally of Trog, a brother in arms, just to give them something else, give more DPS, and give them something else to shoot at. We don't resist fire, so those fire blasts are actually quite painful. Wait, we do resist fire, sorry. We don't resist cold, never mind. Okay, so we made it all the way to the middle, and sure enough, it was a pandemonium door here. Nothing we want. Technically speaking, I'm happy to pick up a slaying ring, I guess. You don't want to get me started on what those orcs did, man. Let's just say it involves a whole lot of blood. Uh, I think since we've already done Volcano, I won't be wearing that anytime soon. I think I'm gonna leave all this stuff here. I'm very happy to wear Ring of Protection rather than Ring of Slaying, and yeah, I'm holding out for better. So we're done. Orc is clear. Everybody on with your lives, and out we go. So what's next? I guess we can just finish off clearing the dungeon. Now is the point in the game where I tend to get a little less cautious than I have been. Triple dipping and careful exploration doesn't make as much sense when you're this far above the power curve. I'm still gonna try and, pay lip service to doing it for the sake of teaching, but honestly, look, they're sending kobolds against me. I was dealing with kobolds in lair before I had a tower shield. Ah, here we go. Always want to fight them one at a time. But I'm not worrying about things like getting the poison needle first and everything, because, why don't you just shoot it, Fox? Let's hug the walls. Don't go out in the open. No, we don't need to go inside that cloud of evil. Okay, Meliles. Meliles are quite dangerous. They have a smite attack that I want to say corrodes at range. I'm not sure of that, but they definitely have a smite attack. So at the level you first see them, they're about as dangerous as orc priests, I would say, used to be. We're gonna drop a poison cloud to limit their ability to. Oh wait, we don't resist poison anymore. Hmm. We're gonna turn on regenerate immediately. And I'm going to have a very low threshold on summoning an ally if my health goes low. They're very fast. I'm not going to be able to get away from them. That's just not going to happen. But it looks like we're killing them pretty quickly, so that should be okay. Okay, good. In that situation, I would have absolutely done Berserk Troll. So Brother in Arms gives me a Berserker Troll at this amount of piety, and that would have cleared them out post haste. Even if I was spending all my time curing and heal woundsing while the troll was killing them one at a time. You can't spam Brother in Arms because every time you do, it's enough of a hit of piety that the next one is less powerful. But you can use it quite a bit, certainly more than the zero that most people tend to actually use it. So feel free to use the ability. Just don't overdo it. Use it when you need it, not every chance you get. There's an ice cave on this floor, but I don't think we have resistance to cold. So my interest in going in there is nominal at best. I've died in ice caves way too many times. Yes, hunger was removed in version 0.26, I want to say. We probably don't even need a berserk for this guy anymore. Let's see. Let's see if we can beat him straight up. Nah, we can't. Alright, we'll berserk. Make sure that we're dealing enough damage to take him down before he gains too many heads. Got up to 16 heads in the end. Woof. There's a nearby archway. I've said in a previous video of this series that I take extra damage from from time portals, and it's true. I get greedy and I get careless. Okay, these are all very distant messages. All was close to melee with the centaurs because they stopped doing their deadly archery attacks and start doing their far less dangerous melee attacks in that situation. Ah, irritating. All right, we good? We're good. Auto travel, auto travel, auto travel. Oh, well, bad news for us. We got to the ice cave, and now we have no choice but to go inside, even though we have no resistance to cold. It's just a game mechanic. It's not a strategic decision. I agree. That's a new broadaxe. Oh, that's a heavy broadaxe. Oh, we're definitely wanting that. Let's see if we can kill these guys in their current form. Pick up the heavy broadaxe and run to the stick. Okay, so our current weapon delay is as low as it gets, not counting shield. Let's see what a heavy broadaxe does to us. 1.1. So significant worse, but 64 damage up front. So I'm not a mather, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it's probably better to stick with our original axe. Uh, Probably. I'm gonna switch to this though for a little while just to get a feel for it. Quicksilver ooze. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that damage. It's beautiful. Now, what I'm most afraid of right now is ice clouds. With zero resistance, they can just spray massive amounts of ice clouds. If that starts being an issue, I quaff resistance because I think I have a resistance potion, right? I don't have a resistance potion? I do. Oh, it's grayed out because it's not currently useful. No, wait. I wish I could answer that question with a good answer. I really do. I wish I could tell you why I have a compulsion to enter every time Volt that I see, even when it's just a bad idea. Hello, Drake Death, Drac Death. Welcome to the stream. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. In a pinch, I drink resistance, resist cold, and use fog scrolls to prevent the cold damage. We aren't in a pinch no more. We found what we need. Something that will help us resist cold until we get out of here. So from 27 AC, we are going to drop down to 26 AC in favor of having double resist cold. Absolutely, the plate armor is better for us than the ice dragon scales because it gives us will and regen as well, and resist electricity. But this is kind of part of why I dip my toe into these places because the loot tends to be cold themed, and often that involves Scarf of Resistance or a Ring of Ice or some means of resist cold. And 95% of these have an exit right by the door, so you tell yourself at the first sign of trouble you'll walk away. Then, if you're anything like me, you stay well beyond the first sign of trouble, and the second sign of trouble, and the third, and the fourth. And then you realize that fiends are present and you have no means of dealing with them. But that's not going to happen this time, right? Because you guys are my good luck charms, right? Definitely. Hashtag spawn fiends. All right. Why did I stand my ground there instead of retreating? Because if I retreated, I would take revenge damage the whole way up. I didn't want that to happen. Azure Jelly doesn't scare me. I think I can take him on, but the game doesn't, so I will give him some respect and back off so that his allies don't show up. I will admit, I don't think I've ever seen a G-Vault or an ice cave before. That's kind of interesting. I wonder what enemy is at the end of this. None? That's unexpected. Hey! Now we have a ring that gives me resist poison, and resist cold, which are both the resistances that I was lacking when I wore my resist electricity option. The plate armor of Duck's Teeth. What a name. But that is not all. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll throw in this Billy Mays here. What do I drop? I guess the Ring of Strength feels superfluous. Immolation Scroll of Vulnerability. I need to drop something. I am a pack rat. Dropping anything makes me break out in hives or something. I guess we'll drop the cold resistance shield. That's not where we're going with this game. And if we go like this, fire, cold, poison, electricity, now we're cooking with gas. Now we are quite well off. All right, let's leave the ice cave successfully, triumphant, and quickly get back to auto-traveling the acquirement. Okay, none of these options are actually particularly good for me. I mean, I'm happy to have dodging because it's something I'm training, but I don't need a fly ring because I'm already flying. I don't need an int bonus because I'm a minotaur. Int is my dump stat, right? The hat of bonus stealth seems nice until you realize that I unstealth myself constantly by shouting on purpose. So what's the point? Uh, I could imagine a scenario where I need the gold, or I could just dump more EXP into a dodge skill. Teaching point. Let's say I don't want to make this decision yet. I don't have to. I can just carry around this acquirement scroll with me and then make the decision later. And the decision stays the same until later. So you can decide tactically, I don't know if I'm going to find a better way to get, let's say, flight. So I want to wait till I'm done clearing Orc before I make this decision. Or I'm about to expose 2 more shops in Orc, so let me wait and decide if I need the money. For example. In this situation, actually, though, I actually will just take the manual of dodging because I am fairly confident that I would like to boost my defense permanently. Oh yeah, it's an awesome feature. And it's interesting also because if you have 2 scrolls of acquirement, you can absolutely sit on one of them or on both of them for a long time, and then gain more and more and more spells, and then read them because you're hoping that the book that you are favored to get is one that you don't have yet. If there's like a specific late game spell you're going for. Uh, anyway, oh yeah, by the way, you guys may have noticed that I basically ignored that null pack, the same null pack that on D3 or 4 was it? I spent almost 5 minutes teaching how to avoid. That's because that was friggin' 20 dungeon floors ago. I'm not afraid of nulls anymore. Not those kind anyway. Always good tactics. Make the guy come to you instead of chasing him down where you're getting shot at constantly. But yeah, I'm not afraid of those guys anymore, so I'm not going to act like I'm afraid of them when I'm clearly not. All right, floor cleared. Next floor. Got a couple more of these, and then we're good. Okay, vault guards. They usually are guarding the actual vault, and they sometimes show up with a named unique in tow. If ever there was a scenario where 1v1 fights was important, this is it, which is why I am not giving up ground. I'm staying here so that they can't get past me and flank me. I guess 2v1 is good enough. Spare tower shields, but I literally got the best shield, so I don't care that much. Ooh, Scarf of the Resistance! That's better than my Cloak of Stealth. I lose 1 or 2 AC points and I gain poly-resist in every temperature, so yeah, please. Thank you. I am now a highly resistant Minotaur with flight. Oh no. So much for that plan. Make them come to me. Take them out. Always digging myself into the tightest square that I can find myself. Okay, except when that guy's there. Back off, let him break up into many small pieces instead of fighting him in a narrow hallway where he becomes one titanium. That Granny's hand at scarf, man, that's where it's at. Okay, pause. Pause. Certain named uniques will show up in your games, and if you know how to deal with them in advance, your life will be better. If you don't, you can stop and look them up and decide. So that second ability of his is why Luis is relevant. Not his damage and his AC, all of which are fine, but I can beat him up because I'm a freaking hulking berserk minotaur. That one that says banishment is what's going to get me killed. Banishment knocks you into the abyss. There is only a small handful of enemies, a moderate handful of enemies that cast banishment, but you will learn to fear them because this is one thing that if it lands on you, you could be game over right there. How you avoid it is putting on your will resistance equipment right away. You'll notice that there's a 20% chance to beat my will. So if in first instance I throw on a ring of willpower, that number probably goes down to 2%. Lucky for us, we're troglodytes. So we start with built-in will and just hit this. Now we have will plus plus. We've gone from 2 pips to 4. And his ability to banish us is nil. We duel on strength alone, Luis. And frankly, I have you crushed. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. But you do realize that if you don't pay attention and you're just, oh, I can beat Luis in 3 hits, hit 1, hit 2, boom, you're in the abyss. that could rob you of more consumables, time, energy, and safety than it's worth. And other people in chat are pointing out that we're strong enough to beat the Abyss right now. They're probably not wrong. Abyss does seem doable-ish at this point. But what I said last video still holds. Always take the easiest source of experience available. You're not trying to take what can you do. You're trying to take what is the safest thing to do. And again, this is all if you've never won the game before. I mean, if you're looking to get your first Minotaur Berserker win. After you've won before a couple times, then, and you start doing more creative and interesting things, then yeah, of course, these are not hard and fast rules. What is it that you're doing to me that's so painful? Agony. That's what it is. Skeletal warriors come in packs, and they're very strong melee brutes. If you aren't a strong melee character, if you don't have strong untyped damage, those guys will hurt you badly. But we are literally the thing that they are most afraid of. A strong offense, strong defense fighter. So we're just going to beat them up. Come to me, my pretties. Where the heck is that sync zombie? Messing up my auto travel. I don't want to get hit by a rocket range. There you go. Alright, I don't like this place. Let's go on the other side. I don't like this one any better. Let's leave this floor and try a different staircase. There we go. Now I feel like I have safe retreats throughout the bottom. Sun moths are new to the game from several versions ago, but they light you on fire. So, something to watch out for. I already have one I'm not using, so I certainly don't need two. I'm going to charge into these guys because retreating is going to take forever to... They will keep shooting me as I run away and flanking me. Better just get in the middle of them and knock them out. And yeah, floor clear. Let's just go at it now. Hallway. Hallway. Take you down. Oh no, there's a lot of them. Even though I'm taking attacks, I very badly want to get into this narrow spot before I fight. Everything here is an attack I'm not taking. Every enemy there was an attack I wasn't taking. Okay. Jewelry shop with an amulet of faith and downsides. No thank you. Come to me. Cut you up. I remember when a single orange demon was a scary ally to the unique monster. Now he's just one of the many popcorns I'm dealing with. I don't keep those, please. And I don't need to keep my boomerangs anymore. In any scenario where I'm throwing things, I may as well make it javelins for damage. Guess what, guys? We made it to the bottom of the dungeon, and thus concludes the video. I did promise last time that I would give my analysis of S branches. I almost wonder if I'm better off doing it in my next video, so that it's fresher. Let me look really quickly here and make a decision. Nah, I may as well go just a little bit longer. Okay, so, S-runes. There are 4 branches, 2 wet ones and 2 poisonous ones. Snake, Spider, Shoal, Swamp. You have to pick one first. Spider is dangerous. The enemies in it have been upgraded recently, and they test you on many axes, including swarm mechanics, invisibility, heavy hitters, poison, confusion. Shoals is dangerous because it's a wide open space in which you can be attacked with will attacks that mesmerize, that fear, and that increase your damage ability. Positioning matters a lot. Less dangerous by far would be Snake and Swamp. Snake are high AC poison and fire attacks against you, but just generally good tactics will get you a long way. And Swamp, you're worrying about footing being lost on account of the wetness. There's a decent quantity of electric and ice attacks, and there's Will-o'-the-Wisps who have ignore evade style fire attacks, plus Hydras. So you really need answers to those questions. So if you find the best answer for which branch to take first, in my opinion, it is snake/swamp, then spider, then shoals. But the real answer is, do you have answers to those questions I posed? And if you have those answers, go there. Flight is a huge help in shoals and swamp, for a melee character especially. Uh, High AC is a huge help in snake. Resist poison is a huge help in snake, spider, and in swamp. I would go so far as to say it's almost mandatory in swamp because clouds of confusion can be all over the place. Uh, I have personally beaten all of these branches without any resistance. So it's not like you can't win these. If you're even more cautious and use their best tactics and freely use your consumables, etc. But, take the easiest one first. So the first spot here for our build very clearly is snake. Because we resist poison, we resist fire. Those are the two elements most tested there. And we have high AC. So we answer all the questions correctly. Shoals, however, we're actually mostly ready for as well. We have will when we need it. We have flight. We have a reasonable ability to take on enemies that surround us. So we could theoretically do either. Snake is the easier of the two, so that would be my vote for the first visit. And because my vote is the only vote that counts in this dictatorship, that's where we would go. So I guess in we go. Um, Sorry, I'm deciding whether or not I have it in me to tutorialize Snake right now. Yeah, I think we can do it. Let's go into Snake, guys. Okay, things to know about Snake. Um, let's say that this is your first time playing and you don't know any of the enemies. Always feel free to stop and see what they can do to you and decide what to do. As a nice rule of thumb, green snakes and blue snakes are not that scary to a big melee brute as powerful as we are, especially if you resist poison already. So we're gonna quite freely explore as long as we stick relatively near to our escapes. We have blink and we have butterflies and we have teleport. So we have the means of bailing ourselves out of every bad decision we make. Trying to head in the direction of the only exit I know. So I should teach you guys this tactic. It is not unreasonable to go down here, look around to make sure it's safe, make it safe, and now we have a retreat spot that is going down instead of only the retreat going out. So we have multiple ways to escape from, say, Mennas or whatever. Hey, he tried to do what we did, hit around a corner and let us walk into range. Blue snakes are stronger than the green ones, but not by much. Uh, to a high AC character, you're not worried about them. You just go up to them and beat them up. But just realize you're gonna spend more. You're gonna trade more blows with them. You're not gonna just walk into them and they die from fear. Ooh, we have a new scroll. I want to see what that is. See, that was me trading blows with him, and look how much damage he dealt me. I do want to keep the heavy axe on here because a lot of these enemies are high AC. And high AC enemies, you want to hit less often for more rather than more often for less, so that their AC blocks you less times. Seven minus 2 plus 7 minus 2 is a lot less than 14 minus 2. Alright, floor's cleared. Let's just finish it up. Oh, back to a hallway. So Mambas we've met since layer 1. So that same logic that I've been applying where this monster was scary to me half the game ago can definitely apply to them now. But those ritualists can poison you by smiting and can cast a spell that removes your poison resistance entirely. So it's very much worth keeping a close eye on your HP and deciding, if you need to cure out of poison or not. Okay, is this Yasiraj? No, it's Yasa Exod. Whew, never mind. Second there, I thought this was Cthulhu-esque. Alright. Naga Warrior. Remember what I said about the blue snakes? You typically can go toe to toe with them. If you're a high AC, you can just duel, but just realize you're going to lose health and so will they, so keep an eye on your health. Salamanders are all about the burn. If you resist fire, you can be a little more gutsy. If you don't resist fire, be more cautious. Floor cleared. Next. We hate this engage. Anacondas specifically can constrict, which means they can hold you in place and you have one roll to escape constrict. If you fail the roll, you skip your turn when you try to move. So let's say that an anaconda has me constricted and I say go upstairs. I will fail to go upstairs. Let's say I try to go upstairs and it takes 2 turns to go up. The anaconda strikes and constricts me. He'll pin me downstairs. So waiting for the anaconda to catch me is a bad call. I just want to go straight up and get away. Try a different staircase. Ah, Nagarajas. So we talked about greens and then we talked about the blues. These are the red ones. These are nastier. They have the ability to prevent you from blinking and teleporting away if you get dimensionally anchored. They haste themselves. They have poison resist piercing poison arrows, and they shout for others to come and help. So these are a little nastier. They still die very quickly, but just if there's a swarm and one of the swarm is him, be a little more cautious. Really, just try to fight him alone and don't charge in pig-headed is basically the strategy. Bull-headed is fine, because, Minotaur. Hugging staircases. If I could get you guys to come here, that would just be great. Funnel them in one at a time, please. I've lost a lot of health, so I'm going to turn on Regenerate because I don't feel confident this fight is over. And if the fight extends longer, I want my health to be coming back. Captain's Cutlass. Well, it's a good thing that I have my health up. Alright, we have this floor under lock. Okay, let's stop being so pedantic and start being a little bolder with our explorations. We don't want to get burned to death, so let's leave the floor. Full regenerate, drop, pull. Oh, there's the constriction effect. I'm actually going to berserk just to kill the constrictor. I'm not going to try and win the whole fight. I'm just going to get him dead and retreat. And then I'll go back in. Remember, never start berserk unless you know how it's going to end. In that situation, berserk to kill one enemy and get out was a very reasonable risk. Recover, return. Recover, return. +8 War Axe of upside. That actually might be better than what I'm using now. Let's find out. Yeah. Let's drop all these unnecessary armors that I'm not using. Pick up the Axe of an Upside. If I was wielding my generic broad axe, I would be dealing 40 damage at 0.7 speed. This bad boy is 41 damage at the same speed because it's a +8 and it's flaming. So we'll actually put that on. Bonuses all around are kind of nice, but I have a low threshold on going back to my broad axe once I enchant it more. I'm just really hoping that Trog gives me a nicer weapon at some point. Something I can decide is going to be my definitive endgame weapon. Find a nice murder hole and murder them all in this murder hole. There's no hiding from these guys. I have to charge them down. They had the abilities to force me to engage on their terms. And that's why I took 50 damage reaching them. If I was really afraid of them, I could have fogged and then used the fog to make them come to me. But I'm not that afraid. Once again, you'll notice that we've turned on skills and not messed with them basically at all. That is not optimal play. That is a nice beginner hack that you can do just to be okay, because beginners can afford to think about less things, and since you're not training more than 3/4 of the skills in the game, you don't need to be as Careful about your XP usage. This is a bad fight. There's a lot of them, only one of me. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna kill as many as I can, and then I'm gonna step into that teleporter behind me to get away. I mean, I'm at nearly full health. It'd be silly not to attack a little more. Slowed and poisoned. Now's a good time. Oh no! Landed in a much worse scenario. Here we absolutely have some choices. We can berserk and try to win the fight outright. We can cure, but the better option than that is to use one of my fear scrolls. If even half of them respond, that just made this fight 10 times more survivable. Now we turn on regeneration, and we start attacking. Blue ones are gonna die, but they're gonna make me stall for a few turns, so, gotta be ready for that. Okay, we can cure out of poison, so we're gonna do that. Kill this guy, focus targets down, let the regeneration do as much good as it can before taking on the next guy, and we're good, we're good. That was a really nasty teleport. We could, of course, have double teleported to get out of it, but that might have landed us in an even worse spot. Better to, deal with the fight we had. And that's part of the difference between playing a weak class and a strong class. If instead of being Minotaur Berserker, I was Kobold Fighter, right? Then a, a game situation like that could have put me in really bad shape and forced me to use consumables to survive. Uh, though in fairness, yeah, see, that's kind of the thing. That may have been one of the worst situations I've been in all run. And I didn't, and I used a single scroll of fear to counter it. So tactics, tactics, tactics. If I were to run straight at that guy, I would have been in worse situations by now. All right, we done with this floor already? Not yet. Lump of peat. Next. Okay, this is not a terrible floor entrance because we resist electricity. So let's see if we can't draw them into us. We're not leaving the staircase though. We want to be able to walk away from this when the things get bad. Those two aren't coming to us. We're not going to them. So new stair, please. Constrictor is dangerous. Stand ground and kill the constrictor. Man, you guys are irritating. Not standing my ground is a risk here, but okay, I'll take it. Last door, please. Better luck. Maybe. Maybe better luck, maybe? Maybe? Maybe, maybe? There we go. Knock 'em dead. Teleport. ID. Nothing to ID at this stage. Actually, we're probably getting pretty close to there being nothing to ID, period. Brand weapon and a couple scrolls or pots. Okay, what a weird staircase this is. I'm not gonna waste a dig charge connecting the two floors. I'm just gonna go back and win the fight. Notice that my health is so high that I don't worry about this yet. Full regen and return. Not leaving the staircase if at all possible. I want them to come to me. Okay, you guys satisfied? You all nice and dead now? Thank you. Come to me. Alright, nice pile of corpses left there. Now we can just travel at large. So, yeah, we have managed to pass the part of the game where every decision is life and death. Now every decision is, will I burn a blink scroll or not? See, if I had been more methodical and had gone down that down staircase, I could have known that it was a safe retreat spot. Without knowing that, I'm forced to stand here and fight. Let's try and get them to a single hallway. Good. That one has a Lance of Force to force me out of my position. That's nasty. They're all hasted, so I'm going to turn on my healing just to compensate. When my healing is on, I heal 2.2 HP per turn, thanks to my base regeneration, my armor regeneration, and my ability regeneration. That's a lot of HP. Consider that with all my damage reduction on my AC, they're having a hard time even landing 2 damage on me. So if they deal 10 and I heal 2 per turn, that's pretty brutal. Now, if they're 5v1ing me, it's still plenty. But if they're 1v1ing me, they're not going to kill me. And that's kind of the goal. Donald, why are you such a putz? Alright, last floor. Okay, one last pro tip that you need to learn. The last floor of any branch, shoals, snake, slime, sort of lair, especially vaults, elf, is at least 30% harder than the floors that preceded it. So don't go into them expecting the same. Know that you're dealing with something harder. What is the correct answer to that? Good tactics. I'm going to literally be the broken record saying good tactics. In the case of end branches, I would also remind you, do the easiest thing available to you first. We could make an argument for not picking up this rune and going to shoals instead, because better to do shoals 1 to 3 and then come back. Fact is, we're above the curve enough that I'm actually comfortable in beating this place, and we do need to pick up at least 1 rune now so that we can enter vaults later. So I'm going to stand ground and finish this, unless it proves to be a harder branch end than even I'm estimating. But always be willing to run away. We do not have to stay and win this branch end. Branch ends are known to be harder. We can take it if it's only, or if and only if it's easy enough to do. Nagaraja, not worried about you. Hide around the corner, beat your face in, heal up. Oh, can't heal up. Heal up. Okay, beat your face in. Beat all of you guys in. Power of the AoE axe once again. Nothing. Always one at a time, please, gentlemen. A magical power is absolutely not worth it on a character that cannot use magic. All right, connecting our upstairs and our upstairs. I generally do use a scroll of revelation on these floors, these branch ends, just so that I know the layout for free. I didn't this time because in this particular run we've had so few scrolls of revelation. I'd rather save them for necessary uses, but you know, just being aware. This looks like the end zone of the whole area, so I'm gonna approach this with trepidation and caution, and make sure the rest of the floor is cleared first so that if a teleport has to throw me somewhere, it probably throws me somewhere safe that I've cleared. Because very much you can get overwhelmed in these end vaults and then need to teleport out. Alright, we found a nice little hole to fight in here. Shout once. Make them come to me. Oh no, I got pincered really badly here. They outmaneuvered me. I'm gonna go left and try and just fight my way out of this mess that I've put myself into. Now we have our murder hole. Minus the shock serpent above us, who's dumb enough to walk into sword range. Or axe range. Good enough. What's next? Take you guys down, please. Okay. If you look at the mini-map, you can see that we've done a good job carving out every part of this floor that isn't the end. So now we're heading to the end. Still focusing on outside rather than inside. Still trying to pull enemies into fights that help us instead of swarms that don't. And away from whatever else. You know, if you guys have ever done MMO fighting where how you pull minions away is like half the encounter, it's not entirely dissimilar to what we're doing here. Instead of bringing down every enemy in the instance on us. Okay. Again, very methodically trying our best to make them come to us, to decompress the inside of this chamber as much as possible rather than put our head directly in and pray. And by the way, decompressing a chamber is absolutely a term you're going to hear me using a lot when we get to Zot. Anybody else want to come here? Anybody at all? Come on. Come on, we got Taylor Swift tickets. We don't have Taylor Swift tickets. All we have is an axe of death. Regen is going to be nice here because this is going to be a pitched battle no matter what I do. Notice how I didn't berserk because I have no idea how long this fight's going to last. So that's more of a last ditch thing if I have to. Full heal. Anybody else want to come to us? Good. Every fight that I have now is a fight that I get to have in relative safety. Once I put my head in, those become much more dangerous. Just imagine if I had managed to like chase enemies in and all of these fights were happening deep inside at the same time, instead of 2 or 3 at a time out here. And then you get dimensional anchored, can't blink, boom. Alright, doesn't look like they're coming anymore. Probably this whole area was full of snakes when it started. Now they're not. And I think... Oh no, watch out, that's Vashnaya. Vashnaya is extremely dangerous. He can blink himself, he can blink away, he can force all of his allies to blink away into safety, he can guaranteed hit you with portal projectile, and he hits like a truck. Very dangerous. If ever there was a scenario to play good tactics, it's now. Honestly, I think I might just teleport out and go for a better engage than this. There he is. This is a much better engage. Him coming to me, uh, yeah, I could. Oh, question. Does Berserk extend stack, or you just get one extend per turn? For example, if you kill 3 enemies in one instead of just one, do you... I'm not certain, but I think that it stacks in that sense because I've noticed when I'm fighting raw all at once, it tends to just last as long as it needs. It tends to last and last and last. But I feel as though there's a diminishing returns element because sooner or later that thing ends, and it generally only lasts X many turns. It doesn't just last 50 turns, while I'm killing enemies. No, it runs out in the middle of fights all the time. While he comes to us, I'm thinking of what buffs I need. Probably I can do this with no buffs, unfortunately. So teaching would dictate that I should either go invisible. I can know they see invisible. I should use potion of attraction so that he always gets pulled towards me and can't run away. Use haste. But I'm honestly probably just gonna use Trog's hand and or Brother in Arms. We'll use Brother in Arms. We'll use Brother in Arms to win this fight. So Brother in Arms. Now there are two of us. Even if he tries to run, even if he hits one of us, he's not hitting the other. Boom. Very dead. Very, very dead. Alright. With Vashnaya dead, I'm not worried about anything now. That was the big scare. We're just gonna go ahead and just... Yep, there's nothing else in here. And guys, that's a Serpentine rune. That's what? 3 hours because I've been literally playing as slow as possible to explain everything I can. And 3 hours Minotaur Berserker rune. For any of you who have been watching this tutorial to try and pick up some tips and tricks for how to play the game or learn basic strategy, I would like you to stop watching and go and try it. Try basic strategies that I've shown here. Try tactics. When you mess up and die, don't think, damn it, I died. That sucks. I didn't get lucky, if only. Think instead, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? What could I have done different? What could I have done better? Because the power was with you all along. Here, I'll pull this up. My very last game was a Minotaur Berserker. Oh, this is not showing it. Hang on. My very last game was a Minotaur Berserker. and I won it. Just straight out won it. And I'm playing another one straight up, just the next game I'm playing, and clearly this guy's on the path to winning it, right? As long as you make it out of the very early game, your odds of winning goes much, much, much higher. And with Berserker on tap, the ability to get out of the early game is so high. I mean, I've probably played more Minotaurs back when I was bad at this game than any other race, so that probably tanks my stats. And even with tanky stats, let's take a look. 65 Minotaurs played. Wait, no, that's 72. 72, 65 Minotaur Berserkers played, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, wait, there's a faster way to do this, isn't there? There's a grid for that, right? Berserker. 9 ascended. So, yeah, throw 10 Berserkers Minotaurs at it, you probably win one of them. Or more, depending on how careful you are and how well you're playing, and yes, how lucky you get. Let's not pretend that this character couldn't have had an unlucky abyss or something like that. It can happen to anyone. All right, that's all I got for now. Thank you all for watching. When we come back, I don't know what we'll do for sure. Probably we'll do the next S branch. That makes sense. Uh, that's all I got. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.